You can understand more what their music is about and where it comes from based on where they live, right? Because that's where the inspiration comes from.
Well, so music journalists seem to think. The polar music, or the music from the north and music from the south, and all that. We're just songwriters and musicians. But of course, you can be inspired by the woods, and you can be inspired by the weather, or the lousy weather as such. But I don't know. I think it only comes from yourself, really.
England's also famous for its lousy weather.
Yeah. Scotland particularly.
Raining, yes.
So this band of yours, fralippolippi, you're the voice behind it, right? And can you give us a little sense of when you guys first started? When you first started as a musician, as an artist, as a composer, and as a
that's two different questions. Because the band started in 1979. I think the first single came in January '80.
Okay.
And I was asked on the second album, when everything was done, if I could do the lead vocals, because Rune wasn't happy with his. And I said, yeah, I'll try. I give it a try. And that was my start with Fralippo. So I didn't write anything for that album, but for the next one, Songs album, I started writing songs for them. I had been writing songs for myself since I was 13, 14 years old.
Oh.
But other than that, I hadn't written for a band.
So you were already a singer, songwriter.
Yeah, I've always been a singer.
When you came into the scene with fralippolippi.
Yeah.
So are you saying that fralippolippi was already an existing band when you came in?
They were.
How long have they been fralippolippi before you first came
4
in?
years then, not 79 to 83.
Okay.
So, and I knew them quite well because we come from the same place.
Okay. So they were already a kind of a famous band back then?
Not really.
When you first came in?
They were, one of those shoegazer bands.
A shoegazer band.
Yeah, they never smiled, all in black, just looking down or looking up like that. It's the post-punk thing.
Post-punk.
Which I wasn't part of at all.
Okay.
I was a session singer doing background vocals for various artists, and I was more into, Beatles, Carole King, Elton John, Burt Bacharach, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, all that.
Yeah.
So I liked the classic pop songwriting,
And here we go with this band called fralippolippi, and then inviting you to sing for them. What was it like? Was it like love at first sight? What I mean is, did you hit it off together right away as a band, or did it take time for you guys to sort of develop a relationship?
We knew each other a bit. But, we've never socialized.
Okay.
No, it was always just a professional bit.
Okay.
And which was fine with me, we all. But Rune and I later on, because 2 years later when we signed with Virgin Records, they said you guys need to be ready to promote this album, and go on tour in Europe and do not playing live. This was the dreaded mid-'80s, when no one was allowed to play live if you were a new artist.
Yeah.
So we traveled about in Europe and did TV shows and playback and all that, which is immensely boring. It's so boring because you don't do what you know. You can't give anything. You want to bring it to the stage, but you really can't. You're boxed in. Yeah. So that was not a good thing, but we had to do that, and they told us, you need to be ready for that. And then the two other guys said, well, we can't. We've just become dads. We can't just go on. So they split.
So
they quit the band.
So when you first started,
that was Rune and me left with it.
4 years into fralippolippi, that's when you came in, right? You mentioned back in the early 80s. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah.
So,
83.
83. So when you became a signed band under Virgin Records?
85.
85, right? So you were already just the both of you, Rune and you.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody else was no longer with the band.
No.
So it was just you and Runer.
Yeah.
Runer, of course, is the composer, right?
No, Rune he writes all the lyrics.
Okay.
I
You're the composer.
Yeah, well, he also writes some music.
Okay.
So we wrote some music together.
Okay.
I mean, not together, but for instance, when we had recorded Songs album, and the Virgin Records told us, we need another single here. And so Rune said, well, maybe we can use the verses from an old song we had that's called The Small Mercy. And did that, try that, I listened to it. And then I said, all right, needs a chorus. So I wrote the chorus. And that was Every Time I See You.
Oh,
So, yeah.
wow.
So
That was how your first ever hit song was born, Every Time I See You.
yeah, well, Shouldn't Have to Be Like That was really the biggest hit in Europe
Okay.
at that time. But Every Time I See You helped.
You know, you mentioned that this is the 80s that you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? And that was a very interesting and a very colorful time in music. We always look back, Kuyamagik and I, even Ralph here, we look back at the 80s, and we always seem to smile and you know, because that was a very colorful, interesting time in music. Tell me about your 80s experience. What was it like to be right smack in the middle of the 80s?
First and foremost, I must say that 70s is my decade when it comes to music.
Okay.
I love you had prog rock, synth rock, you had jazz rock, Return to Forever, Chick Corea's band, and the Weather Report with Joe Zawinul and Wayne Shorter and so on. I was so much into that. And, on the West Coast stuff, with Steely
So
Dan.
you were thrust into this music scene of the 80s, right? This new wave, colorful...
Yeah, I didn't like punk. I didn't like post-punk.
Okay.
But I sort of made my way into it.
Okay. By accident,
eased
right?
my way into it.
So how was it like?
I tried to think that, I was waiting for the verse to begin in the studio for that first album where I didn't write a single song.
Okay.
So I was thinking, I think, sort of blend of myself and some David Bowie-esque voice would blend in here. So I just used that and took it from there. So it's just a matter of, taste and musicality, I think.
I can imagine fralippolippi and perhaps you as a solo artist in some capacity being able to work with other 80s bands, right?
Yeah.
Would you be able to tell us who you were able to work with?
We didn't work with anyone, really. We met a lot of people.
Like, how about perform with anyone?
No, we didn't. We had our own gigs.
Okay.
We went on tour in Norway and Sweden. And then later on played in Japan and here. And but we never worked with other. Well, we worked on Light and Shade. That lots of musicians from America, from LA, like Walter Becker and Jeff Porcaro and so on. But other than that, we just met people. Met people all the time.
Okay.
We were sitting in a studio waiting for a place to live. And, for a car to come and pick us up so we could go to a hotel. And in through the door comes the Queen, the band.
Oh, okay.
My
Hi.
goodness me.
Okay.
Wow.
And Brian May sat us down.
Which studio was this?
I have no idea. It was in London. And we just took a walk through in the studio. And in one room, I spotted, that's Steve Hackett from Genesis.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
And that guitar player, Steve Howe from Yes, they were doing a duo album.
When you were in the United States, I heard somewhere, I think it was coming from one of you guys, or maybe it was you, that you were about to get signed until Stevie Nicks happened. Tell me about that story.
No, not Stevie Nicks. She was in Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
No, this was Stevie Winwood.
Steve Winwood. Sorry, pardon me.
Steve Winwood.
Tell me about that story. Go ahead.
No, we had recorded our album in L.A.
Okay.
From March to May, or at the end of May. And then 2 months later, they called us from Virgin America, or to our manager, and said, we have to let go of 5 or 6 bands from Virgin America because we've just signed Steve Winwood for $40 million or something. So that was it. So we weren't signed to Virgin America, but we you know, Jeff Porcaro and Jimmy Haslip had the two drums and bass, you know, Toto and Yellow Jackets. They were keen to go on tour with us in America. And we said, oh, that's brilliant. And then this call came. And we just called London office and said, well...
So you went to
we're out of America then, so we'll just leave Virgin altogether, and we did.
You went to the United States to get signed, supposedly, or hoping to get signed.
No, we were signed to the main office in London.
Okay.
So we just called the main office and said, well, that's it, bye-bye. You won't be paying for us in America anyway, so now we that's it for us.
In case you're wondering who you're listening to the voice of fralippolippi, PerSørensen, live in the studios of 105.1 TMC. I am jiggyjuice, of course, Kuyamagik and
Hello,
Ralph.
yeah.
Ralph is here, and we're just getting warmed up for tomorrow night's concert, right?
Super excited.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's super excited. And of course, we all know that the passes are sold out, right? So
they are.
They're sold out.
They're sold out.
Sold out, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, sold out.
Congratulations, by the way,
Thank you.
Per. And we're looking forward to watching you and the boys perform tomorrow night. Tell us about your performance. I know there should be no spoilers and all of that stuff. Give us an idea. Give us a sneak peek.
Well, you know, I think people hate it when they come to a concert and expect to hear the hits, and then they play the whole new album. I won't do that.
Okay.
Mainly because I don't have a new album.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't do it anyway.
Okay.
We'll play snippets of a new album, but of course we'll play it will be a hit parade. And I have this brilliant Norwegian band here.
Yeah.
So my musicians, the ones that I'm used to play with. So that sounds great, and I think we won't let you down. You know, this is going to be really good.
You know, we play a lot of your songs. I've been
yes.
I
Sing a lot of your songs as well.
I've been playing many of your songs on the radio for decades now. You know, you have Light and Shade, Beauty and Madness, Crazy Wisdom, Later, Every Time I See You, and so on and so forth. You have so many hit songs on the radio that's been played on Cebu radio and Philippine radio for decades now. What do you think it is about the Philippines that love your music so much? I know it's difficult to explain, but what is your theory? Why do you think Filipinos love fralippolippi?
Oh, here we go.
Seriously, this is a serious question.
I know. Yeah. Well, the songs are, you know, a very good love song should be very sad.
Okay.
Lyrically, at least. And I think Rune has, you know, really hit it there. And they are, I mean, if you say, I don't want to see you anymore, you know.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
No, I want to see you anymore.
You don't want to have that song in your wedding, do you? So
relatable, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's the romantic thing, and maybe, hopefully, my voice. Hopefully, the way we express ourselves. Yeah. I always say that, you know, my expression is not piano, is not the songwriting, my music, because I compose most of the music, and it's not my singing. It's the blend of it all.
Yeah.
That's the expression, and you know, so I think maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, because fralippolippi
it's melodic.
It's so uniquely fralippolippi. I can't compare you to any other band. You mentioned earlier David Bowie-esque. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, your voice does have that kind of David Bowie vibe, right? But you're still uniquely just out there, standing out from all of the other bands. Yes, Kuyamagik.
I'm just saying about the karaoke. I mean, it's probably one of the most popular songs requested in karaoke here, and it's the only one song I can get 100% on when I sing.
Really? Now?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's Light and Shade.
Light and Shade.
Yeah. You know, I don't sing, but you know, for me,
that says a lot, Per. If somebody doesn't sing it, but your song makes them sing, that's a big deal.
It is. It is.
It is, and it's just really nice, and the songs I've grown up to them, and especially in England, and I've heard some of the songs there and here. It's just so the songs are so relatable, you know. Like I think that's another reason as well why people can really kind of, you know, relate to the music. And when someone can relate to a song, that's it. It's already a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. I think that's about it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Our time now, it is 6:55. We're not going to keep you long,
Yeah.
but I know you need to get some rest and all of that stuff. But one more question, if you don't mind me asking you this particular question. This has been bugging me for a long time. You know what they say, the market decides, right? You don't decide how your artwork is going to be received by the public, right? When you make a song or you make an artwork, you release it into the wild, and you don't know what's going to happen to it, right? It's really the people that decide, right? Did you ever think that this band, this artwork called fralippolippi, this collaboration of different artists would be such a big hit in some obscure part of the world?
No, we had no idea. You send it out. It's like sending your children out to, in the world, and you never know what's going to happen.
Do you see him on a billboard?
Sorry,
that's my child on the billboard. Wow.
Exactly. But so no, you never know. But what we did, and especially Rune taught me this really early on. He's 4 years my senior, and weirdly still is.
Wow.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
So he said, we need to make it a package. We want music and words to fit very well together, the production very well together. We don't want to use the most popular sounds at the moment because they will be dated in 5 years or 10 years. And then the design of the sleeve and all that, all these components need to fit, to blend together, and then we can be proud of our work. And that was it. That's what we did.
Wow.
And that's why it's still played on the radio now, 40 years afterwards, I think.
Wow. And thank you. Thank you. And wait for PerSørensen, the voice of fralippolippi, and the rest of the band performing live tomorrow night at the event space here at Tops.